Okay, appreciation day 9, I think. So today's watch is very special because today's watch is a watch I made. Or more accurately, I bought all the parts and assembled. I certainly didn't make the movement on this. But I did personally assemble, select the dial, select the hands. The movement, pretty simple, Japanese NH35. And then I added the strap. I also have a stainless steel bracelet. Couple options there. This is a 20 millimeter, so it's very easy to find straps and bracelets to swap out. So this mustard yellow is kind of my go-to. I absolutely love the fit and feel of this. Super light. This is a 40 millimeter diameter watch, 43 with the crown, 12.2 millimeters thick, 73 grams with the brace or the strap, leather strap. So spent the day with this watch today. I've actually spent a lot of time with this watch because I made it. Like, that's pretty exciting. A year ago, I didn't know much about watches. I owned a few. I kind of got into it, learned a bit about the history. And then, of course, what started popping up when I found a clonage of the Monaco Tag Caliber 11 is parts and pieces of watches. I was like, what is this about? And then it was, you can mod watches, you can modify them, you can buy the parts and make the watches. And I was like, okay, so if I'm not going to blast out, thousands and thousands of dollars because frankly I'm cheap, before I know what I want, or maybe ever, let me learn with my hands. And so I bought all the parts and pieces for this watch to assemble it on AliExpress. Now there are US vendors you can buy from, and the availability of the movement that I purchased, the NH35 and that's running this, has become less available, or at least the Japanese version's less available, and so the Chinese more prevalent, which a lot of people report issues with. I've built with the Chinese since. I've built nine watches. I should say assembled. I didn't build anything. I got the parts, I put them together. Other than getting the second hand on these watches and making sure the movement matches the case, you're not making anything. But you are selecting, you are making design choices. I actually had 6 styles made for me, 5 different styles. But dials with my tattoo right here as the center icon, as the logo. Dials with my last name as the logo. Dials with my last name or my tattoo and someone else's as a gift. So there's things you can do there, very easy and very inexpensive, and have them mailed to you. It takes a few weeks when you're getting something custom made, but then you can assemble those. So I personally chose to do that, starting with this first one that has no logo. And so this watch, now let's go over the specs real quick. I already said the diameter, so 40 and 12. The weight is very light at 73 grams with this yellow, but it is supposed to be 100 bar or 10 meters, 10 bar, 100 meters. Given that I'm the one to assemble this and there's no rubber seal on the inside of this, I would never wear this in the pool, but it does have a screw down crown, and I'm very confident that this would hold up in just about any weather outside of swimming, outside of diving into water, accidentally really floating this thing. So very, very comfortable in believing this watch will be with me indefinitely, and I would be very comfortable giving this as a gift, which I have done, or which I'm going to do with some assemblies I've put together. And this is sapphire glass as well. So, for, I think all in the pieces really were like $112. It might be let's say closer to $200 if you bought the same movement today, because those have become harder to get. Harder to get for micro brands, harder to get on the regular assembly market. I would, again, not be afraid of the Chinese movement, but you're gonna have to get what you're comfortable with. But all I will say is, if you think this is something you can't do, I am not super handy, certainly not someone who's done any type of minor work. this is, I would consider this pretty macro hands work. This is not you're not assembling a movement, right? You're literally just putting a case in a piece and removing the crown pin and replacing the stem of that crown, cutting it to size. You're talking about some clipping and some measurements. This is super easy, and it is so satisfying. I have a recording of assembling one that's a gift where I really struggled with the second hand on a 3-hand watch. And in fact, one of the second hands, I made two, as these two gifts is bent a little bit. And I love that. It's not perfect. And I actually love it about the watch because it's a different colored second hand. And so it gives us this unique appearance. It's obviously a complete failure on my part to get it on there enough times that I actually bent the damn thing. But even that is like really special because it's a personal gift. It's a personal whatever. So I would recommend, if you want to appreciate watches in general, consider assembling your own watch. Consider just, oh, and I have gone with the custom dial and said, I bought the dial and the case. So I had the person making the dial send me the case. And if they sell the movement, buy the movement from them too. That made sure the fit was going to be able to assemble it. So I essentially, at least on a couple of these, bought all the parts and pieces from one. It could have shown up assembled. I wanted to do the assembly myself. It feels so much more personal when you cut the stem to fit and you get it going and you get it running that first time. It feels pretty amazing. Now I have mushed up an assembly, so if you're not willing to end up kind of crashing out on about $75, $100 and have to buy new parts, maybe don't do this. But for what this is worth, is if you could imagine owning this watch, or I'll have the other 4 up. But then just like you look at it, you put it on, it's like I made this. This did not exist as a watch until I put it together. Like, how cool is that? So I hope you're appreciating your watches, whether you assembled them or not. I'm going to appreciate this one for many, many days to come. Have a great day.